want to do well in the exam, though she is capable, this is the place. Dear students, have you understood what I have just uttered? I don't think so. These are some incomplete sentences and you could not understand what I am trying to say, right? So, it's very important to express our feelings or emotions in a complete sentence. Yes, dear students, I think you have already guessed today's topic and it is completing sentences. This is Shumana Islam, lecturer, Department of English, Milestone College. Today, I will show you the important structures in English language for constructing a proper sentence, because sentence is the root of any language. Without sentence, we cannot express our message to others. So, it's very important to construct a sentence properly. We cannot deny the importance of constructing a proper sentence. Some important things to remember. That is, first of all, you have to know what is sentence, and then you have to know how to construct a sentence and how you can make different types of sentences. You have to know the structures of the sentences, and then you have to follow some rules while answering during exam. That is, while answering, you have to write the full sentence, that means the given part and the phrases or clauses that you are including or you are writing. And last of all, you have to underline the answer that you are writing. So this is the way of answering completing sentence. Well, my dear students, first of all, you have to know the sentence structure, okay? That is subject, verb and object. You know, in English, the sentence structure is subject, then verb and then the object. Then you have to know what is phrase. Phrase means a group of words, okay? There can be either subject or verb, not both. And in case of clause, subject and verb, you will find one subject and one verb, both. There should be a subject and a verb and it should express a complete thought. And then comes conjunctions and linking words. These are very important while completing a sentence. Dear students, when you are making complex sentence or compound sentence, in that case you have to use conjunctions like subordinating conjunctions for complex sentence and coordinating conjunctions for compound sentence. And you have to use linking words also. And then comes punctuation marks. Very, very important. Without punctuation mark, your sentence is totally incomplete. Remember, dear students, if you do not use full stop after statement or question mark after interrogative or question sentences, or exclamation mark after any exclamatory sentence, then the sentence will be regarded as incorrect. Okay, dear students? So please remember, do not forget to use the punctuation mark. And sometimes you have to use comma in between two clauses, right? When you are starting the sentence with a conjunction, in that case you have to use a comma after the first clause. Okay? So these are the basic things that you have to remember while answering completing sentence. Dear students, now I will discuss conditionals. You know, there are 4 types of conditional sentences in English, and the first one is zero conditional. The structure is if plus present indefinite plus present indefinite. That means both the clauses will be in present form. For example, if you work hard, you can get a good result. If you heat ice, it melts. So, dear students, this is all about zero conditional, which expresses facts or truths about the present situation, and the result remains the same. Then comes first conditional. First conditional means a possible situation in the future. the structure should be if plus present plus future. For example, if you go out, you will get sunlight, or if you work hard, you will shine in life, or if you help him, you will be rewarded. So this is the structure of first conditional. The structure of second conditional is for improbable situation or unreal situations. For example, if you own the lottery, you could buy a car. If she helped the poor boy, the boy could get education. Next, third conditional. It is about the imaginary situation that actually did not happen. The structure of third conditional is if plus past perfect tense plus perfect conditional. Perfect conditional means would have, could have, should have, might have. So you have to use these words in the second clause. For example, if the police had seen the thief, he could have caught him. In conditional sentences, you can also use unless. Unless structure is unless plus affirmative sentence and then negative sentence. That means the second clause will be in negative form. Okay? There are more words that also suggest conditions. For example, had. When you find had in the beginning of a sentence, it suggests if. For example, had I been to Cox's Bazar, I would have enjoyed a lot. And then comes provided that, providing that, or provided. These also suggest if. Okay? For example, he will help you provided that you follow his order. Or I will go to the village provided I get the bus ticket. Okay? So this is the structure for provided, which suggests conditions. The use of since is a little different. There are three types of structures for since. For example, when since expresses reason, in case of reason, the structure or the clauses should be in the same tense. For example, she could not go to school since she was sick. And then when since suggests time, in case of time, you have to follow two types of structures. For example, if the first clause is in present form, then the second clause will be in the past form. And if the first clause is in past form, then the next clause will be in past perfect form. Okay, that means you have to use had, would that, or I wish. In case of would that or I wish, you have to use past subjunctive after the subject. That means you have to use were. For example, would that I were the president of the country. That means the unreal past. Next, had better. With had better, you have to use V1. Okay, like he had better go home, or she had better take good preparation. Now, dear students, there are some linkers or conjunctions that follow same tense in both the clauses. This is very essential to know. Okay, the conjunctions are and, or, but, as soon as, since, as, because, till, until, who, which, where, etc. With these conjunctions, you will use same tense in both the clauses. Okay, then comes as if, as though. As if, as though has two types of structures. One is the first clause is in present tense, the next clause will be in past tense. If the first clause is in past tense, the next clause will be in past perfect tense. Okay, for example, he speaks as if he were the boss. That means it's an unreal situation. Then she acted as though she had known everything. Then comes lest. In case of lest, you have to use should or might. The example is, walk fast lest you should miss the train. Think carefully lest you should make a wrong decision. So lest expresses an intention to prevent any kind of undesirable happening. Now comes it is high time. It is high time plus subject plus V2. That means after it is high time you have to use past indefinite tense. Okay? So for example, it is high time you started studying hard. It is high time you solved the problem. Now comes let alone. Let alone expresses a negative meaning. She cannot walk a kilometer, let alone 3 kilometers or 5 kilometers. That means it is totally impossible for her. If you find present or future indefinite tense and then when or after, then the next clause will be in present perfect tense. Now dear students, you have to know where to use relative pronouns. You know relative pronouns? Who, which, that, where, when, etc. And who is for person and which or that is for any kind of object or thing, and where is for any kind of place, and when is for time. Okay? No sooner had than, scarcely had when, or hardly had when. These are very important structures. You have to use past indefinite tense in the next clause. Okay? For example, no sooner had the teacher entered the class than the students stood up, or hardly had she seen the thief when she started shouting. Would you mind? In case of would you mind, you have to use verb plus ing in the next to complete the sentence. For example, would you mind helping me? Would you mind giving me a cup of tea? So this is a kind of polite request. Dear students, now I will discuss some important proverbs, because you have proverbs that might come in completing sentences. You have to use the right proverb understanding the context or the given sentences. Okay? So let's see some important proverbs. United we stand, divided we fall. Then a sound mind lives in a sound body. So when you find any sentence with health or related to sound mind or sound body, in that case you can use this proverb. Or if you find a sentence or reference of health and wealth, in that case you will use the proverb health is wealth. Okay? Next one, where there is a will, there is a way. Then falls are thick where love is thin. Uneasy lies the head that wears a crown. Then a man is known by the company he keeps. So dear students, you have to remember, that means you have to memorize these proverbs. There is no alternative of memorizing. Let's see some more proverbs. A friend in need is a friend indeed. A rolling stone gathers no moss. Necessity is the mother of invention. Strike when the iron is hot. Actions speak louder than words. And then a tree is known by its fruits. I have mentioned some of the important proverbs. There are more proverbs that you can get in your book and collect them, and you can also take help from your subject teacher so that you can get more important proverbs that you should memorize for completing sentences. Well, dear students, let's solve a board question. And today we are going to solve Select Board 2017. The first sentence is, honesty is the best policy. If you maintain honesty, you will be respected by all. Here the first sentence is the given sentence or the clue sentence, and we have to complete the next sentence that is meaningful or relevant to this sentence. So if you maintain honesty, you will be respected by all. And we know that in conditional sentence, if we find if plus present indefinite tense, the next clause will be in future tense. Then B, patriotism is a noble virtue. It is high time we started loving our country. Patriotism is a noble virtue. This is the given sentence or the clue sentence, and we have to complete the next sentence that is relevant to this sentence. That is patriotism or love for the country. And we also know that after it is high time, we have to use past indefinite tense. So we have written we started loving our country. Then English is an international language. I wish I could speak in English fluently. So English is an international language. This is the given or clue sentence, and we have to complete the next sentence. And we can also see that the sentence started with I wish. Here this is an unreal past, so we have to use past subjunctive here. So I could speak in English fluently. Then number D, if I had much money, I would set up an orphanage. If I had, here had is the main verb, that means this is in past form. So in case of conditional sentence, the second conditional rule is past indefinite plus past conditional. That means we have to use would or could in the next clause. Then there goes a proverb that a friend in need is a friend indeed. So you have to make friendship with a gentleman. Here the second sentence is the given clue. That means friendship. It is about friendship. So we have to use a proverb that is on friendship. A friend in need is a friend indeed is the famous proverb on friendship. Then hardly had he seen his friend when he started rejoicing. Hardly had takes when as the conjunction and the next clause in past indefinite tense. So we have used he started rejoicing. Then number G, it is long time since we traveled together. It is long time since. We know that in case of since, if the first clause is in present form, then the next clause will be in past form. So we have used traveled as the verb of the second clause. Then all of us have to work hard with a view to. After with a view to, we have to use verb plus ing, that is achieving success in life. Okay, after with a view to, we have to use verb plus ing in the next clause. Then I was too young to go abroad alone. We know that after to, we have to use the base form of the verb. So we have used go, then abroad alone, which gives appropriate meaning to the sentence. Then a student has to be punctual. He has to study regularly lest he should fail in the exam. So after lest, we have to use subject plus should or might. Then the consequence or the result if the first condition is not fulfilled. That is, here we can see he has to study regularly. If he does not study regularly, then what is going to happen? We have to write that consequence after should or might in the next clause. Okay. So dear students, practice properly and make good result. That's all for today. Thank you. Allah Hafiz.